Okay, here we go, man. Episode 239. Episode 238 was a bunch of thank yous, and we did half the roll. I'm not trying to do videos over half an hour because hardly anybody watches them. To the end, I'm saying. If you do watch it to the end, then you could give me a shout out and let me know. I always appreciate that, and of course, it helps out the channel. And let's get it on this chat. So this penny roll is all copper. That's number one. I got it from the bank yesterday, M&T Bank. Very quick shout out to M&T Bank and all the ladies there. They're super duper awesome. And shout out to our newest member, Tina. She is also super duper awesome. And here we go. Our first penny is a 74 that has some nice toning to it. Interesting. I don't see any doubling. Just a pretty penny. I'll put this with the fine pennies. Oh, I gotta start another roll for a different episode. Okay, there we go. Wow, let me tell you something. This is the third wheat cent, and I'm gonna put this. Well, I don't have to put it this side. We'll look at it real quick. Make sure there's no. Yeah, right. This is the problem with the dirt, man. Remember Jesse's law. If you see dirt, it's probably. What I'm gonna do is, you know what? Where's my my alcohol? Let me clean this real quick. It shouldn't hurt. What I'll do is I have the alcohol swabs. They go dry so quick. But if you have a bottle of alcohol, then you could just keep on. All I want to do is there's a little line next to the 4. I'm not really trying to get all that dirt out. I just want to see if there's any doubling on the date very quickly, as quickly as I can. I might as well just clean the whole thing very lightly. And then I have a little polishing cloth. Now, my experience is that a polishing cloth on a heavily circulated penny will not do any damage. That's my experience. But when I use this copper cleaner, right? Man, that's a whole nother deal. Don't do it. And if you put copper cleaner, you better know what you're doing because there's a very good chance you're going to damage. So the 1944, it's not a D. Nah. The 1944 D over S is a special penny. All right. But we're still seeing if we see any doubling there. See, the line went away, I think. Let me look at that under the loop. I can't tell if that's dirt or not. I have to clean it. I have to clean it a little bit better. I'm sorry. I have to get that. If that's a line, then it's doubled and it changes everything. I think it's dirt. Remember Jesse's law. If it looks like dirt, and it's where you're wondering if it's an error or not, then it's probably dirt, not an error. So let's see. Let me look at this under the loop again. There was a little bit of dirt right on the side of the 4. Yeah, it's dirt. You see, it came off. So I didn't trick myself. I've been tricked so many times. So many times I've been tricked. You got the so the "In God We Trust" is called the motto. And when you see it going into the rim like that, it's called bleeding. I learned that from that's pretty nice. I learned that from coppercoins.com. He talks about the bleeding of the motto or letters into the rim. This one has something going on the bottom there. I'm not sure if that's just dye deterioration or a possible error. So I'll put it to the side. That's our first one. But these, move these up. Put you there. Start the new one. Okay. Look at this one, man. This is absolutely incredible. And of course, if you're penny roll hunting, this is what you want. You want, I want all copper penny rolls. They're the most interesting, and they have more value, right? So what do I mean by that? By more value, more intrinsic value. Copper's over $4 a pound, I believe, right now, which comes out to, I don't know, 3 cents or something like that, or 3 point something cents per per copper penny, right? So that's it. Once they stop making pennies, you can take these to the it has that sandblasted look. I remember seeing this. I don't know. Let me wipe it real quick, see if it comes off. Or if it stays sandy looking. I remember seeing something like that in can't remember if it was a strike error or a planchet error. So I cleaned it real quick. See, that's the problem. I can't keep the coins underneath the viewfinder. Sometimes it confuses. It kind of stood that way a little bit. A little sandy looking. I'm not going to hold on to it. I'll put that with the fines. So we got 2 fines and 1 MS. Look at these, man. This is what you want to see. Well, I mean, obviously, I'd like to see an error. But pennies in this condition, I'll put that with the MS. It's too bright. That might be an error. We'll look at that in a second. 1960. If it was a D, it's a key variety. They have a small and a large date D. I'll look at that in a second. I think that's just damage to the column. That's why it looks a little shinier. Let me look at it under the loupe. Yeah, it's so difficult to tell. I don't know if it matters, you know. And you can see the spread on the I and N um, in the motto. Spread to the south. That's also I'm realizing the more I'm looking, this north to south spread appears very common. Um, so and this is pretty heavily circulated. I won't even put. So don't forget the 1960 is also it's bronze. But the only Lincoln cent that I keep outside of those penny rolls are the 59s. And so even this 1960, unless it was in super duper condition, it's going into the penny roll. And this is our first heavily circulated penny, so it goes into its own little spot right there for heavily circulated. It's not in the fine category. Look at this. You see some and no marks on the back. Wowzers. Some of these pennies are just in outrageous condition. And yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna put this in with the pen in the MS penny roll. It does have some marks on it. That's gonna take away from the grade. What a crazy penny that is. I'll put it. Well, we'll look at it later, or I'll do a short on it. So far, if in case you haven't noticed in this penny roll, even though we found some beautiful, beautiful pennies, and again, you know, this I'll put into the AU. So now we have an AU. We have 2 MS, 3 MS condition pennies, 1 AU, 2 fines, and a heavily circulated penny. I explained all of that in episode 238. So if you're like, what do you mean by MS and fine? And watch episode 230. If you watched episode 238, you're not asking that question. You watched it to the end anyway. I'll put that in with the fines. Yeah, I have about 5 in all the months that I've been doing this. I have about 5 MS condition. See, like this one, right? The black spots really take away from it, but the penny is so bright. Even though it might be a high AU or low MS, I'm still putting it into the MS roll because of how bright it is, and I think somebody who bought that penny roll would enjoy it. Another one, a 53D. What? And look at this. This is the 4th wheat cent we got out of this roll. Now, look at this on the bottom of the U. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. Let me find our other. Make sure I'm not. All right, this is the other one. I just want to check out. All right, so the E Plurius is up there. I don't get too many wheat cents, so I'm glad we have other ones. Look at that under the U. Is that if that's an S? Forget about it, man. So let me tell you something. So we have a CUD. There's all kinds of stuff going on this. I'm gonna put this one to the side. It's gonna take a special video. This might be a valuable penny. This one I will not clean at all. So first of all, the only problem with that little mark right there is that it. Here, let me get my pointer out. And this pointer is an awl. It's a sewing awl. You see this here, which I believe is a strike through. All right, I believe it's a strike through and not post mint damage because possibly a piece of this letter came off and got smashed there. No, you know what? I don't think that's what it is. I'm thinking about this. That really looks like an S. And I believe that's so. This is going to be my quick. Oh, here's the CUD. Just this CUD alone brings value to the penny. A CUD is when a piece of the rim comes off and it gets pushed onto the field or the surface of the rim of the penny, and that's a CUD. CUD. That gives the penny value. So if this when they were making these pennies, if all kinds of stuff was going on where the die was broken or there was debris floating around that was breaking the reverse, right? So there might have been something laying on the hammer, right? And those things were breaking off pieces of the back of the pennies, right? So okay, I'm gonna try to explain what I'm saying. I might have to put it on myself to show. Okay, so you have your hammer and you have your anvil. The hammer, the planchet, the blank is lying on the hammer, and then the anvil comes down and hits it, right? Back then, the quality control was not good, which is why you find a lot of pennies with little holes and stuff like that. There's debris, there's dirt, there's all kinds of stuff flying around. That one looks like, all right, so you have it gets hit, and then a new blank comes on, fed on. Gets hit, a new blank comes on, gets fed. If on the bottom of the hammer, the die that's making the impression on the bottom, if it's broke or there's stuff on it, debris, little pieces of metal, and it's breaking every time a blank comes and hits it, and it's damaging the details, the high points, and maybe one of them falls off and it's falling back onto the hammer. When the next blank comes on, it'll get pushed onto the next blank. That's what I think happened there. A piece, an element from one of the other previous pennies that was struck, blanks that was struck, came off, and from later stages of the die, obviously I'm talking about, when they get deteriorated. Okay, that's what I think happened here. That's what I think happened here. I think that is a piece of a previous coin. Of a previous penny. Now, it looks like an S, but it might not be an S. It might just be a random piece of metal that is in the shape of a tiny S. Even though there is a little S there, and it's funny that the S is to the left there, right, of the U, the only S, and the U has, what I'm saying is damaged. All right, so anyway, I spent too much time here. Oh, there's other S's that could have came off and everything. So that's what I think happened here. Because obviously that doesn't belong there, because what does the back of a wheat cent look like? It looks like that. Oh, it didn't have the dot either? No dot between the plurius and the unus. There's no dot there. And we have a bunch of wheats to look at. Here's a 45. Does it have the dot? It has the dot. Oh, wow. So it's missing the dot, unless the 53 didn't have one, which I doubt. It's missing the dot. I don't see it. This is a 666 penny. That's a big time penny. Let me tell you something. Okay. I'm not doing a part. We're going to get through this. I'll just put them to the side from now on. But I think that one was worth looking at. I'll put that with the AUs. $62D. What a great. That's those are die dents. Those are done at the mint. They look like little footballs or little diamonds. This one has a bunch of them. So that's a collar error. The collar was, at this point, all beat up for this penny. And this is what I'm saying. You don't find too many things like this on zinc cents. Not like this. Look at all this damage. Because there's just so much better quality control today than it was, 60 years ago. Yeah, that ruined it. I won't even put this in with the MS because of that corrosion. But I will put this with the AUs. Maybe they'll be happy to have one like that. So this is part of what's fun to me. You see that with the 8, and then you see the little circle line right there? That's from the crimp roll. The crimp roll made that. That's not a, that's post mint damage. I mean, it could have been done at the mint if the mint had a crimper that year. I don't know if they did or not. I'll put that with the AUs. Another 68. So this one's really bled into the rim. And that R is pretty cool. Let me look at that under the loop. That might be something to check out later. It's so dirty there, though, man. Always has to be dirty, just where you don't want it to be. Jesse's Law, man. I'm telling you, Jesse Messy's Law. It has to be dirty, right where you don't want it to be. It could be dirty anywhere else, you know, but it has to be dirty next to the R that looks like it has an error. Put that with the fines. I don't even want to deal with it. The 74s, you got to look at the date kind of close, especially by the. It's called the little cross on the 4. It's called a crosslet. And sometimes you'll see little marks there, and that might be an indication that you have an error variety. But you can go nuts with this stuff. You could just keep on researching and see if we have a floating roof. Yeah, a little floating roof, a little weak FG. For those that you don't know, sometimes the 69 and the 70s, they have what's called a floating roof where the lines here and here are kind of weak. It makes it look like the roof is floating. It's not worth anything, but it's just something that, to acknowledge. That's all. No, oh, okay. Here we go. So let me tell you that website, Copper Coins, is really really good. I got some good information from there. I would recommend their channel, especially to beginners. All right, let me look. So obviously, it's over here in this area at the top, and what he called it, and I agree with his terminology, is he calls that distortion, and I think it has something to do with probably later stage dyes where it just starts to create a distortion in the elements, the letters, the motto, the liberty, the date, especially the motto. I noticed. So this one has great distortion. It has a cud. And to me, I called it a cud, but I see a little mark above it. So it could be a cud. But I really like how it moved the T around there. I think that's pretty cool in the R. Let me look at the reverse real quick. So does that mean it's valuable? I mean, someone might be into, like me, I would probably do some conservation on this, get rid of that dirt. And then somebody might be into a penny like this, for a buck or two or five, maybe $5, just because of the cool factor. So I'm going to put that to the bottom. I thought that had a cool factor to it. You might not think so, but I thought so. All right. Too many dark spots, corrosion. I'll put that with the AUs. I won't put that with the MS pennies. Collar error. A lot of collar errors in these older pennies. I guess they just waited a long time before they took out changed out the dies. I'll put that with the AUs too. I mean, even a mint state older penny wheat cent, you can pick them up for $2-3. It doesn't make them super valuable. Some of them it does, some of it doesn't. So you have to be careful. Don't get tricked. Do your research. Watch all of my videos. Watch all my videos. Watch all my videos. Till the end. Watch all Jesse's videos to the end. Collar error. I mean, it's a nice looking penny, but I'll put that with the AUs. A lot of AUs. Ah, nice. A little too close. That's a beauty, huh? And this is typically what I liked is for that's a nice misaligned die. See how much on the bottom it's how much thicker it is than the top. Let's make sure it doesn't have any rotation. Nah, I don't think so. That's a nice looking penny. Without the AUs. And we got one more. Oh, we got two more. Let's do this one first. 63. Right, so you all know that if there's no date, it's considered a Philadelphia. Even though there's no P, it's considered a P for Philadelphia. Put that with the fines. And last but not least, another beautiful 77. If it wasn't for some of these little black marks, these pennies would be super, super high. I'm still going to look at that Liberty. No, it's just corrosion. If it wasn't for that little bit of corrosion, man, this would have been a high MS penny. The reverse is nicer. Okay, so that is what I'm looking for. A nice 30-minute video with a few errors. This roll had 1, 2, 3, 4 wheat cents and a Canadian, which tickles me pink. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to all of our members, of course. And I will see you in episode 240. God bless.